Today we're going to do a quick subtraction review over where we're getting our ideas and what we're really doing when we are borrowing numbers and making sure everything place value wise is aligned and everything. So we are going to start by looking at this problem. And what I want you to do is I want you to think of all of the different ways that you know from your past for how to solve 345 minus 159. Stop and think. All right, so if we go all the way back to some of our first learning of numbers, we know that each one of these can be represented by visuals. So that's what I wanted to do to start. And I really just want to show it to you just so you're reminding yourself where all these ideas are coming from. So let me show you. So really what all of those numbers are representing is this visual here. So you have 3 hundreds, 4 tens, and 5 ones. And what our subtraction tells us is that some of that's going to go away. I know you know this. So visually, if we're removing something, our very first piece is to remove our ones. So we want to stack our problem. So 345 minus 159. We're going to go through this quickly so that we can remind ourselves of the algorithm itself as well. So we know that we start in the ones, and when we start in the ones, we have 5 minus 9. Well, that can't happen because I only have 5 ones, and I need to break them up. Well, I do have more. I just need to change this 4, into ones. So if I were to break all of these apart and move them into the ones, we're going to pretend for the time being that I break all of those apart. So now I have 15, and I can take 9 away. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. How many do I have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. So now I no longer have 4 here. I have 3. I can't take 5 away from the 3 that I have. So I'm going to use some that I have in another place value. So we're going to put this over here just so we visually can see where we are getting those extras. They're not really extras, they're still in the problem, I'm sorry, from, but where we are borrowing from. Try and give everything its own space as well. Okay, so 5 tens. So this whole thing is a 10. So that's gone. That whole thing's gone. That's 2. That's 3. Here's 4. And here's 5. Well, now this is no longer 100. It is now tens. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tens left. And I do not have 3 hundreds anymore. I have 2, but I can still take 1 away. 2 minus 1 is 1. Okay, so there it is visually. That should look familiar to you. We've done it in the past with squares and sticks and dots and these cubes and all that. So all of that math that I just did visually is now seen here in numbers, which is where you were able to get last year with lots of borrowing, and I know numbers much, much bigger than this. But these are the steps that we're going to review today so that you are able to get back into the flow of doing these. So the 5 became 15 because we borrowed a 10. The 4 became 3 when we borrowed that 10, and then 13 when we had to borrow 100. And then since that was borrowed from, it became a 2. Okay, so it can get pretty messy, and a big thing I'm going to bring up multiple times during this lesson is to keep everything very organized and in a straight line. So all of my 1s work, all of my 10s work, and all of my 100s work being separate. So 7 minus 2, because I started in the 1s, 7 minus 2 I can do right away. 7 minus 2 is 5. If you ever need visuals, please draw your visuals. Then I'm going to go to the 10s because I am done with that column. I go over to the 10s column, and it's 6 minus 7. If I were to draw that out, I could see visually, and I also know that I cannot do 6 minus 7. I can do these numbers minus each other, but I cannot do 6 minus 7. So I go to my next place value to get sum, and I'm going to try to do all of that. So this is going to be red. This is going to be my 10s work. So this now becomes 4. There are now 4 hundreds. I'm breaking those hundreds into 10s, and this is going to become 16. Because I've taken that 100 and I broke it into 10 separate 10s and moved them over. They are now 10s. 16 minus 7 I can do, and it is 9. Okay. Now I go to my hundreds, and it's 4 minus 2, which is 2. You can see that if everything stays in its own separate column, it becomes easy to see what goes where. Okay, so it's really about being very careful and then taking it just one column at a time, right? That's all I want you to focus on today, is taking it one step at a time, and we will build on that tomorrow.